Hey, I just wanted to make a video and say some things, and I don't expect a response or anything. I don't want to write a letter. I know words are just words, and I I I know saying these things at least would give it some more legitimacy in what I have to say. I just I don't know. I've never really talked to myself like this before, or I guess talk to you, but say these things out loud in front of just alone. Um, what is a relationship when a person when I give up everything for a person who doesn't show me nearly enough love back? What is a relationship when I cook for this person and almost every day he can't buy me food? What is a relationship when my sexual desires aren't really ever met almost since day one? I'm just lately I've just been trying to put myself in your shoes, and honestly I'd hate me too. I I wasn't a good partner. I wish I was. I wish I could have, knowing all this knowledge that I know now, knowing how better I could have been. I wish I could go back in time and show you. About a month ago, I started a new relationship with someone else. A day, the next day after my second suicide attempt. This relationship has taken has taken so much out of me because I'm trying to be that partner that I should have been to you, but I've just ended up being used, not just by her, but by her entire family. I am able to empathize a lot more with how you felt during our relationship and how I was draining the life out of you, because this relationship that I'm in now is like how ours was, but reversed. And on fast forward, I feel like I'm losing my own sense of self, that I can't do anything for myself anymore. And honestly, I don't even know why I'm in this relationship. Because I'm making this video, and you know why I'm making this video. I've learned so much about what kind of partner I should have been to you, and it's bittersweet how much better of a partner I can be now when I think back to a year ago, and wish I showed you all the love that I did have for you. This whole thing, this whole thing, it wasn't just about Kenzie. She's long gone, and I'm content with that, and I think you know that. I think a lot of the built up resentment you have for me is because of the way I treated you throughout our entire relationship. What happened at the end, I feel like only just validated your beliefs, although I deeply regret that idiotic mistake that happened with Kenzie. I more deeply regret the way I treated you. You deserve so much more of me. I need to answer your questions, and I know you don't want to hear from me. I know you've moved on, probably don't really care anymore, but I just want closure, and I feel like I'm probably more depressed than you are. My therapist asked me um, a while ago if I think that you're hurting more now than I am, and I said I don't know. Um, and some things that you've said, I haven't directly read your text messages because I just can't deal with it. I've had my mom read the text that you sent, and I I just get the vibe that I don't know. I've been dealing with this in a much more different way than you have. Um, in my heart, I felt like I cheated on you, and that time that I called you on the phone was me feeling so guilty about it. I needed to tell you. I regret it so deeply. I made a mistake. The reason for all of that, for everything that happened with her and I, was because we we had a long distance relationship years ago, and that relationship went very much unended. It went unresolved, and I didn't have closure, and there was so much confusion. She screwed with my head so much. She put me into so much depression, and I I contribute a lot of my current emotions, or the emotions that I had, my depression that I had, to her, because she started a lot of it. I was depressed for months, for 4 months before I met you, but I had never been so depressed that I had become truly suicidal. I had wished I wasn't alive a lot of times, but nothing really serious. Um, when I met you for the first time, that all changed. The depression went away, but the confusion and the unresolved feelings still lingered in the back of my head. I can't really describe it better than that. They weren't feelings of love. It was just feeling that I never got I never got closure. I never the whole thing just confused me, and it screwed with my head, and I couldn't, because I have so much anxiety. I have generalized anxiety disorder, and it just makes me overthink everything and think worry about things that I shouldn't be worrying about, and thinking about things that aren't true, or may or may not. I overanalyze things. I just think too much about things. Um, the last time me and Kenzie talked was before, right before the first time you and I met in person, and I made a decision to stop talking to her. She didn't stop talking to me. Um, the friendship that we had before we met was so dysfunctional, and it it went from just awkward to hating each other to just everything in between. It was not good for me, and it was depressing me. And I we had a conversation, a text conversation, and I decided to stop talking to her because I had met my dream girl, and I didn't want you I didn't want to lose you. I didn't want some psychopath to ruin that for me. I knew what we had, what how we started. It was special. I never felt that way about anyone in my entire life. As our relationship progressed and we became closer, I had begun to feel an emotion that I had forgotten existed, which was happiness. I had been depressed for so long, and ever ever since I met Kenzie, I had been depressed. But my depression has been had been going on for longer than that, almost 7 years. But it hadn't really gotten bad until I met her, and she never made me happy. She just screwed with my head and made me upset and depressed me and everything. I just, you made me so genuinely happy, so extremely happy to the point that I wanted it all. I just wanted you all to myself. I became so selfish. Even at the beginning of our relationship, I wanted to spend so much time with you because you were my happiness. I hadn't felt happiness in so long, and I just, I just wanted to feel that. I just wanted to get away from it all and just feel that forever. And now I know that what this feeling is called dependency, and it's dangerous for a relationship. Um, and I know that committed relationships can't happen like that. And I feel like the dependency, especially for me, um, was dangerous to our relationship. Um, anyways, when Kenzie followed me on Twitter in May of 2015, the real reason I followed her back was because I wanted for her to apologize for what she had done to me, and was that was the real reason. And I remember you telling me that that why don't I talk to her first, or why don't I message her? And I said, because I want that apology to be genuine, and I want her to mean it. And at the time, my anxiety was going crazy because I didn't know what that meant, that she followed me. I didn't know if the reason she followed me was to apologize, but that's what I was hoping for. And I understand that I instilled a whole lot of distrust in me just from that. And I should have controlled my emotions better. I should have been going to therapy before all of this happened. I should have dealt with these emotions in a more mature way instead of trying to get resolution for a toxic relationship that just depressed me. And I loved you, and that was true. I It wasn't because I still loved her. It wasn't because I still had feelings for her. I just felt like I needed an ending so I could have moved on happily without that lingering confusion and anxiety and depression, uh, and I could move on with you, and that is the absolute truth. Over the next couple months, we got to spend a lot more time together, and you gave up spending time with your family for me. I'm still so incredibly grateful for what you did, but also incredibly regretful that I made you feel like you had to do that, that you had to come to my house, and I'm sorry for that. I don't. I felt like we started to go down a road where I became dependent on you, and you loved me and wanted to be by my side, but you also struggled with, should I spend time with my own family or should I spend time with um, my significant other, because I feel more happy with him than I do with my family. And I know you were upset with a lot of different things with your family going on at the time, but I should have been more mature with my own feelings, and I should have encouraged you to spend more time with your family. I shouldn't have been so selfish. I shouldn't have done a lot of things. I didn't want the relationship with your mom to go downhill because you gave up everything for me. Anyways, in the fall of that year, Kenzie began to like certain tweets of mine, and I'm sure you noticed that. It started to screw with my head a lot because I'm not sure what it meant, and all I wanted was an apology. And my anxiety at the time made me overthink everything, and it led me just down a bad train of thoughts that most times would lead to minor depression. Um, Also, in the fall that year, we spent the beginning of October to the beginning of January, and this thing that Kenzie was doing to me was ongoing during that time, and it was screwing with my head. And I remember that you told me that you felt like our relationship started to go downhill, that our relationship started to go downhill in the fall of that year, and that was why. It was because I was becoming more anxious and depressed, and I was becoming more dependent on you, and I clung to you for happiness during that time, and I had the happiest moments of my entire life during those months that we spent together, from handing out candy to all the kids in my neighborhood with you, and watching you just adore all the kids that dressed up, to going to the beach for Thanksgiving and watching the sunrise, and and being able to spoil you for Christmas and get you everything you wanted, and to kiss you on New Year's Eve, and being able to wake up every morning with my best friend by my side. It was the happiest moment, the happiest that I've ever been in my entire life. when I went to Arkansas to visit my brother in January, the stuff the stuff that Kenzie was doing started to ramp up, and she finally messaged me and apologized, and I finally got what I wanted, but I still felt like it wasn't enough. It wasn't, the apology wasn't enough for what she had done to me. It, she, and even she said that I know no amount of apologizing would ever make up for what I did to you, and I fell into that trap, and I, I should have. We only had a conversation for that day, and I should have stopped. I should have stopped it then. I should have another point in which I should have been more mature with my feelings, and just stopped it because you were my everything, and I didn't want to ruin what I had with you. I didn't want to. You were so perfect to me, and I didn't want to ruin that. It was my mistake for not stopping that conversation that day and becoming friends with her, knowing that she was toxic to my life and a psychopath. I made that mistake. It's my mistake. I had a friendship with her for months behind your back, and I'm so sorry. And I deeply regret it. You have no idea how much I deeply regret it. I began to slide into moderate depression because she screwed with my head. Just from being friends with her, she screwed with my head. I clung on to you for happiness. I got more dependent on you. I I got so depressed that uh, I couldn't be without you. When when I dropped you off at your house, a week would pass, and I would say to myself that I need you, and started coming to your house a lot more, and I started to really enjoy coming to your house instead of being at my house. But it wasn't healthy for our relationship to go down that path. I just became so extremely dependent on you for happiness because this friendship that I was having with her was so toxic to my life. And I do remember one weekend when we were alone. I was I was at Target, and I just shopping on my own, and I was all of a sudden I just got consumed with deep deep despair. And that night I remember my I think it was the week that my parents were in Hawaii, and that you couldn't come, and I remember that it was like right after you left, and you couldn't be there, and uh, I just got I became suicidal, but it never really felt serious, but it was a lot of dark thoughts that I was feeling, um, and I didn't know why I was feeling so suicidal when I had you. It was strictly because of this friendship that I was having with her that I was just it was not good for me, and it was never good for me. I know that you probably have a lot of resentment built up towards me over how I treated you during the last months of our relationship. I was I was a bad partner. I wasn't I was immature with my emotions, my feelings, my dependency, most important of all, my dependency, and I am truly sorry. Like I said, I know this is more than just Kenzie. I've removed her from my life because she is toxic to my life. Whether you are in my life or you aren't, I need to get rid of her. I needed to get rid of her. But at the same time, I've also forgiven her after I removed her from my life. I had an inpatient therapist, my social worker, and he told me the opposite of resentment is forgiveness, and that if I have all this resentment built up towards her, that I will always feel affected. And he said he's seen patients just crippled by resentment, just resentment controlling their entire life. And he said that I need to forgive, and not just I need to forgive her. I need to forgive her for me. Not, he didn't mean that I need to literally talk to her and say, I forgive you. He said, you need to, in your heart, forgive her for what she did to you so that you can move on, which is what I've done. And ever since then, it's been a lot easier to handle things. Uh, my my feelings towards that relationship. I feel like I've gotten closure. I feel like there's no reason that I should ever talk to. I don't feel like I need an apology. I don't feel like I need anything from her anymore. I don't care about her anymore. I don't. She's always been toxic to my life, and I need to be mature with that. And I feel like I've made progress with that. Um, I I just felt like I got closure through forgiving her, but at the same time, like I still get these feelings. Like I wake up sometimes and I still think you're in my feel like you're in my bed with me, and I so, sometimes I just get consumed by overwhelming blame towards Kenzie. I blame her that you're not here, you're not still with me, and then I need to control that better, um, because I know that's not healthy. Because I know that it was my mistake talking to her in the first place that led me down this road, that led me to lose you, and it wasn't her mistake. I made that decision. I need to be honest with you. The first time that I was admitted to the psych hospital, it was at the end of it was the day after my birthday, um, and it was due to me practically starving myself from depression. I couldn't eat. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't take care of myself, and they involuntarily committed me for 4 days, and I was extremely eager to get out. I was trying my best. The first conversation that I had with my inpatient psychiatrist there, um, I I told him that I felt like I didn't belong there, and um, looking back, I know that I did need to be there. Um, but in October, my my suicidal thoughts started to become more serious. They became real for the first time ever. Um, I remember sitting at my kitchen table, rocking back and forth, crying, trying my hardest to stop myself from bashing my head in against the table until I couldn't feel anything anymore. And it wasn't it wasn't it was because I wanted to end the pain, but it wasn't like it was just a thought. It was like it became a compulsion. It was it was more than just I wanted to do it. It was that I was trying to stop myself from doing it. I was trying my hardest to stop myself from doing it. And I told my mom that I needed to go to the hospital because I couldn't. I felt like I was going to hurt myself. I felt like I was a danger to myself. And I admitted myself to the psych hospital again, the same one, for 12 days this time. And that's when I talked to you, and my social worker at the time um, had me sign a release of information form, and he kind of went beyond what he should have done in asking specific questions about our relationship. Um, I didn't ask him to do that because the form that I signed was just a release of information, and it was he was just supposed to tell you, you know, that I was in the hospital and that I was suffering from depression and anxiety, and it was just to let you know how to contact me, I assume, and everything like that. It wasn't. He told me the next day that he went over his boundaries as a social worker in doing that, um, and um, at the beginning of January, the suicidal thoughts became so real that I tried to strangle myself with a blanket. And this was my first suicide attempt. I I stopped myself because I the top of my head started hurting really really badly, and I started getting tunnel vision. And at first I wasn't crying. I wasn't feeling that upset. I was just feeling really apathetic, and I just wanted to end the pain. Um, and when I started to, you know, kind of go out of it a little bit, I started becoming extremely emotional, and I started crying, and then I stopped myself. Um, I couldn't do it, and I got my mom, and I told her that I needed to go to the hospital, and I told her in the car that I tried to kill myself, and I stayed in the hospital, the same hospital again, for 6 days. Um, and honestly, I lied to get out of the hospital. You know, the nurses ask me every morning and every night um, if I'm having any suicidal ideations, and at first I was saying yes, and that was expected. I couldn't lie because they would probably know that I was lying because I came in there with suicidal thoughts. Um, but the hospital wasn't helping me. It was just stopping me from acting on those thoughts, and I started to become eager that I wanted to get out and actually attempt again. So I had to lie to get out of the hospital, and I probably shouldn't have, but I didn't want to be confined to that hospital for forever. Um, and uh, the day after I got home from the hospital, I started drinking a lot, and my mom asked me, "Are you drinking to get drunk?" And I said yes, and she got really mad at me, and started to. We had this conversation about how it isn't going to help me, and I told her that I just don't want to feel anymore, and I just want to be blackout drunk, uh, it was a hard conversation for me to have because I basically told her that I just want to I just want to have the freedom. I want to go out on my own terms. And a couple days passed, and like I said at the beginning of this video, my relationship with my current girlfriend began the day after my second suicide attempt. I tried to overdose on a combination of my Klonopin and alcohol, and I took 10 milligrams of Klonopin, which is quite a lot. I could have taken more, but I was scared to. I was scared to actually do it. But I went downstairs and I started to just chug alcohol until I couldn't see straight anymore. And I remember crying while I was drinking, and I remember my mom. I was crying because I was trying to come to terms with me seeing my mom for the last time, like me feeling heartbroken because I was seeing my mom for the last time. And when she got up to get ready for bed, she could see that I was crying, and she asked me if there was something wrong. And I said yeah. And she could tell that I was not, there was something wrong with me because I wasn't really able to speak very well because of the combination of drugs that I took. And I told her how much of my medication I took, and uh, she said that she was gonna call an ambulance, and I told her not to, and she started crying a lot, and she went to bed crying, and I felt so guilty, and I also at the same time I felt like I was gonna go to bed and I wasn't gonna wake up, and I was completely okay with that. I felt like I broke my mom's heart. I met my girlfriend the next day, and we connected because of recent depression, extreme depression, and recent suicide attempts. However, this relationship has not solved my problems. It hasn't at all. I tried to commit suicide for the third time on February 3rd for last Friday by using the same method, combining my Klonopin and drinking a lot of alcohol, and this time I took a lot more Klonopin, and I was so sure that I was not going to wake up that I said goodbye to some of my friends, and for some reason, by the grace of God, I woke up. I don't know how. I didn't even wake up drunk. I guess I have a high tolerance to it all. It was depressing that I woke up both of those times. I just want to tell you that even though I'm in a relationship, a different relationship, I don't know why I'm in this relationship. I still deeply, deeply love you. I'm in love with you. And I know you don't trust me, anymore, and I just want to have just positive dialogue between us. I just want closure. I don't want to get back in a relationship with you because I know that's not what you want. I just maybe one day we could be friends, but right now all I want is just to talk about what happened. Just I don't I don't like that you hate me. I hate me too. I hate me for what I did. I still do. It's been half a year and I still do. More than ever. I'm not lying to you. I'm not. I know I lied to you at the end of our relationship, but I'm not lying to you about any of this. I've been getting help. I've been going to my therapist. I have all these medications. I just, I just, I just, I hate that I have so many feelings for you in my heart, and I can say them in a letter or a text, and you don't believe a word that I say, but they're my true feelings. I hate that you don't know what's inside my heart. If you could see what I've been going through the past 6 months, I just I just wish we could talk about it. That's all I've wanted from the day that we stopped talking, July 25th, 2016. That's all I've wanted. I know I should move on, but I can't deal with this regret. This I loved you. I love you so much. I just I just hope that one day that you won't hate me. I I know that talking to my brother and having conversations with me over the span of our relationship, over his manipulation tactics towards his girlfriends, and how he lied about killing himself, or threatened suicide. I'm not manipulative. I don't do that. Ask my mom. Ask my mom. I actually did try to kill myself 3 times. I'm out of Klonopin because I took it all. I'm not like my brother. I wouldn't manipulate you into feeling guilty, into feeling like you needed to talk to me to stop me from killing myself. I'm not trying to manipulate you. These feelings are real. I don't want you to feel like you're being manipulated either. I don't want that. I don't. Our relationship meant more to me than that. I respect you too much to do that. I would never do that to anybody. I'm gonna I'm gonna send this video to you, and I know it's really long, and I hope you watch it all. And I, if you do, I'm incredibly grateful that you did. I just, I hope that you're happy. I hope that you've been doing well. I just want what's best for you, and I'm sorry for everything.